Can we hear me, please? Confirm in the chat room if you can hear me.
Hello. Okay, yes, I can see your responses. Thank you for your response. Okay, I can see Miriam, Akinola. Okay. Tennis, sports, football, golf, wood football, cricket, motorsports. Okay, so which one is highly represented now? I'm even trying to get it. Let's inform our GSAG that we are going to be presenting now. Presenters in the house, are you online? Please get ready. Please get ready. Okay. I want to share the presentation order now. Though the timing will have to change. It's still 7 minutes, but yeah, because some people are yet to log in. So just ensure that we have a reasonable number of people. In 5 minutes time, we'll kickstart fully. So please inform your GSAG members that are not here, the presenters, inform them, okay, so that they can be on the call. Okay, so before we start that, the presentation order is already there. Okay, so please, if you are presenting, I would love you to put, after your name, just put presenter. Put your GSAG and presenter in bracket. Let's know. I don't think you have the permission, everybody to unmute, right? So that the host can unmute you all. Sorry, I think I can unmute. Yes, so I'll just unmute you and you can go ahead. You can go ahead. But before then, let's interact a bit. How are we all doing? Hope we are fine. How's been the academy so far? This is the 6th day already. Like you all know, I introduced myself in the morning and you are here hearing my voice. I'm Gift. Gift Ifokwe is my name. I hope you're excited. If you are still together with me, please put you're excited or put some emojis. Let's see some emojis in the chat room, right? As you are doing so, inform your GSAG members to join in. We are starting now. And the order has been sent. We have just 7 minutes, but we are trying to make everyone join the call so that nobody will say, oh, they are not informed, right? Again, I said that we're supposed to have a lecture now, as informed earlier, but our speaker is unavailable at the moment. She is someone that is very, 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 very tight up, and for her to really choose to do this for us is something we appreciate. So she's going to be coming in after our presentation. Okay, so let's get ready for that. So how are we doing? Nobody answered me. Are we fighting? Nobody answered. Are we fighting? Okay, let me start with myself. I'm doing fine. I'm excited to be your host or be your moderator for tonight's section. I'm looking forward to you all debates. So please, like I said, put presenter in front of your name, okay? The very first, who is the very first? Let me check again, the order. If this is the presenter on the call now? Okay, motorsport, yes. Motorsports. Let me know if you're on the call, the presenter. Let me know if you're on the call. Like I said, rename your devices, everybody. Rename your devices. Okay, motorsports. I can't see any motorsport too. Are you people ready? Are you ready, motorsports? We'll be starting soon. Get ready your slides and yes, get ready your slides. Get ready your slides. We are going to be kicking. I just want everybody to be on the call, but it seems like some people are not ready. Motorsports, are you ready? Okay. Please, let's know if you are ready. Football sports presenter, are you ready? So I didn't get a response. So how has been the academy so far? Nobody responded. How was also today's task? Let's discuss a bit. We'll start. I just hope we can start in time because I'm not getting response on presenters. I know that we changed the timing, which we are not happy with, but this is what we just have to do. Okay, so yeah, let everybody be ready because once we call the GSAG and they are not ready, we'll move to the next. Okay, so please, everyone get ready. How has been the academy so far? Today is the 6th day. Ensure that everyone in your GSAG, they are logged in, okay, and they are participating and cheering everyone on, okay? So are we ready, please? Let's get response. Motorsports. Can we still hear me, please? Okay. Sorry about that. Just a minute. Getting some distraction. I'm trying to. Okay, thank you so much. So we are starting now. Awesome. The academy has been, today's task was interesting, okay? Awesome, the academy choke. Okay, interesting, I love that. Your wall is well decorated now, okay? That's been nice, okay. All right, thank you for your responses. So please, Motorsports, GSAG, are you ready? Are you ready? Please confirm if you are ready. We want to start now. Time is not on our side. We don't want to finish today's activity late, okay? Later than what we planned. We already started before time, before the usual time, which we asked for your permission, or sorry, which we which we pleaded from you all to just bear with us so that we can finish up with the curriculum. So please, let's not finish so late. And you are the greatest determinant for that, okay? Yes, motorsports, are we ready? Discipline is the most stake for you. Awesome. 1 minute is lateness. Good. How about today's tax? Have anybody heard of the word CSR before? All those things you checked out. Have you heard of it before? I'm sure today's tax was most likely the first time most people, got to understand or got to see that there's something like that. CSR, LCA, EPR, you get. And how many of us have really taken conscious of the sporting activities in our places of work, our schools, and how eco-friendly they are? I'm sure most people too have not really taken note of that, if not today's tax, right? Right? Okay, you agree with me on this. Did you see why this academy, it's not something that you just come and go like that? You will learn new things. You get more creative. Now, I've been waiting for motorsports, so they've not answered me. Okay, football, are you ready, please? We want to start now. Let's start at most 7:50. We were already behind schedule. Football, the next, just like football presenters, are you ready? Please, you can use the electronic raising of hand. Just raise your hand. Motorsports. Okay, Damilola, you are the person presenting, right? Let me unmute you so that you speak to me. Yes. Are you not presenting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Are you the only one presenting, please?
For now, yes.
Oh, you guys are not sure if you're the only one.
Not online. Most people are not online.
Oh, okay. There's supposed to be like a decision made that, oh, maybe 1 or 2 persons. But since you say you're the only one, so we're gonna be starting 7:15. Yes. So please hold on. Let me give hold on while I give some rules and regulation. Once the 7:50 you start. Okay, motorsport is ready. Great. So as we all know, the presentation is 7 minutes max. That's the timing. So please, once your time starts, go straight to, see, you've been made co-host already. So go straight to sharing your screen. And you see the time has even started. So please, you have the time now. After that, football is going to start. So please, Greenie, Damilola, you have the floor. 7 minutes. The time starts now. Yeah, thank you. Is she still there? Can you hear me? Oh my, it seems like, not so good. Okay, football is ready. We are really trying to avoid wasting much time today, or spending much time rather. Yes, football, GSAG.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. Yes. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. I'm ready.
Okay, great. So, are you the only one presenting, please?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. The only one.
Your voice is shaking. What's happening? It's not a big deal now. Be excited.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. So please, you have 7 minutes. Your time starts now. Go ahead. Thank you.
All right, ma'am. I'll be sharing my screen now. Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Akinola Victoria, and I'll be presenting for GSAG football. And we'll be speaking on climate change, a call to action. The next slide. Popularly known as soccer, is a widely popular sport that captivates millions of fans with its combination of skill, strategy, and teamwork. The game is played on a rectangular field that involves 2 teams of 11 players each, and its objective is to score goal by kicking the ball into the opposing team's net, and it requires players to possess agility, stamina, and precise ball control. Football promotes teamwork, discipline, camaraderie amongst players and even amongst the fans. So football is a thrilling sport that brings millions of people together. The next slide, contribution of football to climate change. The environmental footprint of the sport, that is football. Football activities, events, and infrastructure contribute to greenhouse gas emission, energy consumption, waste generation, and also water depletion, from transportation to energy usage and the stadium construction. Every aspect of the sport has a footprint in the environment. Also, the synthetic turf and football equipment add to environmental footprint. This is to say that everything that is being used when it comes to football, one way or the other, contributes to climate change. The next slide. Effect of climate change on football. That is what they are giving to the environment, how it affects them. We're talking about the extreme weather conditions, that have become more frequent and leads to dangerous playing conditions. We also talked about heavy rain and storms that can disrupt the schedule in a way it disrupts the day, and they're unable to play well, and also keeps the fans that are coming to the stadium to watch. It also keeps them, because no one wants to come under the rain to watch the game if the rain is so heavy, when we have heavy downpour. The next slide, we're talking about the impact of climate change on the footballer. Okay, yeah, I'll talk about the air pollution that causes respiratory problems to players and fans. No one can stay in a place that is not conducive to play or to even watch a match. Football mitigation effort. This is talking about how football club or football as a sport is trying to control what they give to the environment. That means they're trying to break down what they give to the environment. So yeah, we talked about the use of sustainable stadium design and renewable energy. We also talked about the use of green transport solution for players. We talked about reduction of waste and recycling programs. It's talking about that most football club can actually come together in partnership with organization that helps in recycling. This is how they bring mitigation, their efforts in mitigating climate change. Okay, yeah, adaptation. We're talking about adaptation on this next slide. Match rescheduling due to extreme weather conditions and training of players and staff to cope with extreme heat. Adoption of renewable energy sources for stadium operations and implementation of energy efficient stadium designs. This is talking about how they adapt to the climate change, Next slide. Opportunities for sustainability in football, integration of green initiative into sponsorship deals, development of eco-friendly merchandise, joint climate action initiative with football association club, players union. This is basically talking about the opportunities of sustainability in football. This is what football as a club can do to enable sustainability in the environment. Next slide. A call to action for sustainable football encourages fans and players to take climate action. Also talked about climate change poses risks to football operations. This is more like opening a high opener to football as a sport, and also football clubs, what they can do to help the environment. Conclusion. Sustainability in football is not an option, but a necessity. The nexus between sports and climate change demands immediate attention and concerted efforts from the football and the entire sporting community. We must seize the opportunity before us. This is basically talking about, by concluding that football as a sport should be concerned with what they give to the environment. Thanks for listening. I'm done, ma.
Yeah, awesome. Great. Well done.
Yes, ma.
Okay. Yeah, so I like the fact that your time did not really elapse and you were done. Okay, good. Well done to you and your team. You guys put up a great work. So without further ado, please let's move on to the next. Motorsports, are you guys ready now? Motorsports Greenies, are you ready now? Let me know. Just raise your hand if you are ready. Motorsport Greenies, raise your hand if you are ready, please. Okay, let me move to the next. Who is the next? Sorry, it's supposed to be Gov, right? Not gold. Yeah, so golf sports. Are you ready? Please raise your hand if you are ready. Are you on the call? That's why I said everyone should please be on the call. Who is Zoom user? Please rename your device. So I won't unmute you if you are raising your hand. Rename your device to a name. We don't know a Zoom user. rename your device, please, if you're going to present. Everyone, please rename your device to your name. Attach your GSAG name to it, like I earlier said. If you are presenting, you can add presenter, please. Zoom user, rename your device. If you are the one presenting, and even if you are not the one presenting, rename your device. Yes, Gov is ready, okay? I'm awaiting for the rename of device. Please rename your device. We don't have time, so we are running. It seems like they are not ready. Motorsports, are you people ready now? Okay, looking like this is like the third time I'm calling them. The next part, winter sports. Winter sports, are you ready, please? The Zoom user is not willing to rename his or her device. Please rename your device, okay? To rename your device, just go to your name, go to participants, long click on your name, and you see how to rename your device. Yeah. So winter sports, are you ready, please? No response. Winter sports, are you ready, please? If you are ready, just raise your hand, winter sport. The person presenting, just raise your hand. It seems like almost all of them are not ready. Motorsport is ready. Gov is ready. Okay, so Gov, okay, motorsport. Miriam, are you the one presenting? Winter sports is ready. Okay, let me call motorsport. Let me unmute you, then you speak to me, please. Yes, Miriam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. Are you the one presenting, please?
Yes, yes.
Are you the only one presenting?
No.
Okay, how many are you guys? 2, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, 2 is the maximum. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so it's 8 o'clock now. So please, you have 7 minutes. You can go ahead. The host, please kindly co-host her. Okay, she has been co-hosted. So please, you have 7 minutes. Your time starts now. So you guys know how you prepare yourself for the 7 minutes. Okay, your time starts now. This is 8:01. All right, please go ahead. Thank you.
Sorry, I want to try to share my screen.
Yes, are you people still there, please? Okay, whichever way, your time has started. Who is the second presenter?
So I'm here, but it's difficult to share my screen. That's
Who is the
why.
second presenter? Let's co-host the. Or are you the same person that will share the screen for the person to speak? Whichever way, your time has already begun. Okay, so yeah. The second speaker can also go ahead or can raise the hand so that we can know. If you are the second speaker on the call, raise your hand. Let's unmute you so that you can speak. What do we do? They are not ready. Okay, so what I'm gonna do in this case, I don't know, please go and check with your network and your GSAG who is going to probably present on your behalf. So let's just give you like 2 minutes away from your time. The next time we'll call you, you just have 5 minutes. That's what we can do for you, okay? So The next on the list, winter sports. Oh, no, sorry. Right? I think that's the next. Are they ready? Or golf, yes, golf, winter sports. Yes, golf sports. Are you ready, please? I called before and no response. Winter sport is ready, great. I think golf, let me ask golf again. Golf, yes, please raise your hand for if you are the golf presenter. Raise your hand. If I told you all, rename your devices. Rename your devices. Yes, golf presenter, are you ready? Who is the person? Ebony, yes, golf is here. Who is the person presenting? Okay, I can't get any response. I'll just go ahead to, yeah, so Favor Akintunde, winter sports is ready, right? Let me unmute you. Time is really running. Can you hear me? Please speak. Are you the one presenting?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. How many presenters?
One presenter.
Just you, awesome. So you're gonna start now. You have 7 minutes. Okay, fine. So you have 7 minutes. Your time starts now. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'll be presenting on behalf of the golf sports, and I will share my screen now. All right. So first of all, sports is an integral part of culture, and it has the power to bring people together and whole nations together. Most of the sports we have now that have become professional activities, professional sporting activities, they were basically games that children played. Running is what children do, but now it's athletics. Football is what children play with bang golo, and now it's a sport in itself. So the same way also winter sports, because of the fact that there was snow all around and it was something that people did for fun, it was something that maintained culture, it became a sport that was established. And in itself, winter sports involves competitive and non-competitive recreational activities, and it is played on ice, basically. So winter sports cannot be played anywhere else. It's a very peculiar kind of sporting activity because except there is ice, it cannot be winter sports. And if it is similar in its activity, so long as there is no ice, it is not winter sports. So to the focus of today's presentation, how winter sports is influenced by climate and how winter sports affect climate. We'll first of all look at how winter sports contributes to climate change. And snowmaking is the first thing we'll talk about. The change in the atmospheric, in the global temperature, in the temperature of the earth, the surface temperature of the earth, over time has caused a decline in the amount of snow that is produced during winter season. And also it has caused a shortage or a reduction in the duration of the winter season. So it has affected the winter sporting activities. Because of that, there has been measures to make it more effective. And also because people would like to carry out these activities, play these sports, even outside winter season, there is such a thing as snowmaking. And this snowmaking, it utilizes so much energy, utilizes so much water in its making. So the energy that it utilizes, of course, it leaves a carbon footprint, which in the long run causes a ripple effect that affects climate change, releasing greenhouse gases and causing a rise in the surface temperature. The winter sports industry is responsible for a significant amount of travel-related emissions. So when there are winter sports activities, people have to travel down to the venue of the winter sports. And this has been found by the University of New Hampshire. It has been found that approximately 2.1 million tons of CO2 emissions are recorded per year for every winter sport held. Now, another way we can see the contribution of winter sports on climate change is in the depletion of water resources. Now, in the making of snow, the artificial snow, a lot of water is utilized, a whole lot of water. And this water, it does not melt as easily as natural snow. So it takes 2 to 3 weeks longer than natural snow to melt. Therefore, the surface water or the groundwater is depleted. And in the end, in this second point where I stated that the chemicals contained in the water, they are now washed down. So they are not available for the normal water cycle of evaporation and precipitation. And then when they are now washed, when they melt and they are washed down, the chemicals contained in them are also released into the soil, and then it affects the microorganisms, the life in the soil, those microorganisms and their growth processes. In the long run, all of these things cumulatively cause increase in the emissions of greenhouse gases and ultimately affect climate change. In the effect of climate change on winter sports, we see reduced snowfall. As we've already stated initially, that there is no winter sports without snow or ice. So in the effect of climate change on winter sports, there is reduced snowfall and ice. Therefore, we cannot have the sporting activities as it should be. There is warmer temperatures, and these warmer temperatures will cause freezing at higher levels, and also it will lead to icy slopes and poor skin conditions. There is a consistency that is required for the snow and the ice for the sporting activities, but with these changes in temperature, when it's not stable, it causes the sporting activities to also be affected. Okay, melting of glaciers. Now, there are spots that are on the glaciers, yes, and because of the change in temperature, because of global warming, because of the glaciers that are melting, right about now we are about close to 1.5 degrees Celsius already, I believe. Yeah, the global temperature is rising and is getting toward 1.5 degrees Celsius.
The time is up. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for that. Okay. Sorry, a minute. Continue. You have a minute left. So sorry for that.
Okay.
Please continue.
So, mitigation of climate change in winter sports. The existing efforts include the International Olympic Committee that aim to maintain global temperatures at 1.5 degrees Celsius. There is also the efforts by the Sport for Climate Initiative, where athletes are used to create awareness for environmental issues, and recommended efforts that we would say is alternative sources of power for making the snow, and also an alternative way for it to be melted back to water. Opportunities for sustainability in winter sports. It would involve everybody's action in educating people about climate change, educating people about what can be done concerning climate change, especially as regards winter sports, so that winter sports can be preserved for a long time. So it's a call to action to everyone, and it is something that if we do not do now, in a few years' time, winter sports will no longer exist. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Oh my God. We are learning, winter sports. This is great. Well done. Sorry, I cut you short there. I did not. Okay, that's fine. Well done. That was a great one. You really presented well. Well done to your GSAMs and GSAG. I can see some. I can see the energy in the chat room. Great. You guys prepared well. Okay, someone was saying that he or she wished that the session is being recorded. Yes, it's live on YouTube, right? So you can always find it there. Okay, now the next GSAG, are you ready? Winter sports and football sports have done so well. Yes, let's see who's gonna beat them. Okay, so without further ado, because time is really, we still have 5 more GSAGs. Yeah, so motorsport, you still have your 5 minutes left though. Are you ready to present? Please let me know. And once this time is called for you, just know that that is it. No more grace or anything like that. But this is like the 3rd time. Motorsport, you have 5 more minutes from your 7 minutes. Are you ready now? Let me unmute Miriam. You can see her hand raised. Okay, is she there? I just unmuted. It seems like she left again. Okay. Golf sports. I think this is the person. Ebony, right? Hope I pronounced your name well. Are you the one presenting? Please unmute and respond. Are you the one presenting?
Good evening. Yes, I am.
Okay, who is presenting? Motorsport is sharing screen.
Yeah, I can see motorsport. I don't know.
Are you the one presenting?
I'm for golf. I don't know why.
So who is sharing screen?
Motorsport is sharing. I don't know.
Who is the person sharing the screen? I want to know. Who's the person sharing the screen? Motorsports. Okay. Probably they were helping to share the screen. I don't know. Okay, golf sports. And what would have actually done would have had your screen shared from the back end. I think that is what we will do probably, but let's see. Okay, so golf sports. Yes, you say you are ready, right? You are still unmuted. Ebony, are you the one presenting, please?
Yes, I'm the one, but I'm still seeing motorsports on it. I'm for golf.
Oh, okay. I don't know who is sharing the motorsports. I don't think they are ready. I can't even get the person's name. I think the person has been logged out.
And I can't share if the person is sharing.
Yes, yes. Please, host, what's happening? I don't know. The screen being shared. Favor, okay, Favor Balogun. I think it's showing she's the one. Oh, Favor, please. I think I don't even understand what's happening. Please, who is sharing the screen? Favor Balogun, please. Are you the one sharing the screen? I can't really understand what's happening. Please, host, are you there? Can we have the screen being removed as I can't get any response? And okay, I think it's been removed. Favor Balogun, she's sharing and we can't even hear the person's name, person's voice. Okay, so please, time is fast spent. Ebony, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm sharing. Please, can you see the screen? Can you all see the screen? I'm sharing. Can you see it?
Wait. It's good you started sharing. Wait.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, yeah, you're gonna start now. So you have 7 minutes, right? So please go ahead. Yeah, thank you.
Now it's not allowing me share. Tell me only host can share in this meeting. I think they've blocked me.
They've made you co-host now. So please, you can share now. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, can everybody see the screen, please? Hello?
Okay, yes, we can see it now. Yeah,
okay,
we can see it.
Yeah. Okay, good evening. My name is Ebony. I'll be presenting for GSAG Golf. And our topic for today is the nexus between golf and climate change. So this presentation discusses the nexus between golf sports, climate change, and it aims to highlight the meaning of the sport, climate change, its effect and contribution, and lastly, recommendations and ways to make us better greenies. We have our table of contents, which is introduction, what is golf, climate change, how does golf contribute to climate change, what is the effect of climate change on golf, how can we mitigate against this effect, what are the eco-friendly opportunities, that sustainable drives, and application to golf as a sport, and then recommendations. So what is golf? Golf is a popular sport enjoyed by all ages. Players hit a small ball into holes using a specialized club, trying to make a few strokes as possible. Golf requires good hand and eye coordination and patience. Players must always read the course and adjust their shots accordingly. People can play golf alone or with others, and is also popular for business working, and in quotes, how they call it, the big man sports. Then what is climate change? Climate change is a term used to describe the long-term changes in the Earth's climate. It refers to changes in temperature, precipitation patterns, and other weather-related phenomena that occurs over a decade or longer period of times. These changes are caused by a variety of factors, including human activity and natural processes. Then how does golf contribute to climate change? We have excessive use of water. To maintain a golf course, it requires a lot of water, the use of chemicals and pesticides. You have to use, the golf course uses grass, so you have to use all those chemicals and pesticides to make it, fresh. Then huge carbon emission. A lot of golfers travel a long distance to reach their favorite courses, and in turn result in emission of carbon. That means, and even the golf cart, because if you notice, most time in golf, people don't only walk; they also drive their golf carts. So, did you know that 22.8 billion gallons of water per day is used by an 18 golf hole course, depending on the location and climate location? Then 1,006.5 CO footprints is left by golfers. Golfers have one of the highest CO2 footprints after divers. Then what are the effects of climate change in the golf sport? We have rise in temperature. With increased temperature due to climate change, golfers may experience fatigue, discomfort, and dehydration, and due to heat stroke. Then the change in precipitation pattern. Golf courses require a certain amount of water to maintain their greens and fairways. Change in biodiversity of golf courses. Golf courses are often home to various species of plants and animals. Change in climate may affect the adaptability of some of these species to new conditions, which may lead to loss of biodiversity. We know how golf courses and animals reside there. So this is an example of a golf course that has been affected by climate change. You can see it's all dried up here. Then strategies to mitigate against effects of climate change on golf spots. We should use plantation. We should use drought-resistant grasses that require less water and also resistant to changing weather patterns. Installation of irrigation system. Irrigation system that uses recycled water can be used in place of fresh water. Then energy efficient practices. That is, we have to implement energy efficient practices in golf courses that will surely assist. For example, use of solar-powered golf carts instead of the fuel-powered one, and use of electronic mowers instead of gas-powered ones. Then eco-friendly opportunities and sustainable drive for golf as a sport. Golf courses can employ the use of recycled water, as we said earlier on, use of solar panels. Golfers can choose to walk instead of using carts by taking steps to reduce chemical exposure by being environmentally friendly while going natural. Then the fact is, we have facts and figures. Globally, do we know that there are about 35,000 golf courses in the world, and we have 900 of those courses spread across Africa. And our recommendation, as greenies and students of this wonderful academy, based on what we've learned, we'll recommend that the golfing bodies should use their top and influential stars to create more awareness on climate change, the effect it has, and how to help by using their social media platforms to do this. Fans, as we know, tend to be influenced and always want to emulate their idols. And these are our lovely team members, GSAG team members. We have our wonderful GSAM Golf, Merit Wanchuku. We have our team member, Aminat Abdulaziz, my humble self, Ebony Michika, and Maureen Muidin. Thank you. And if you have questions, you can go to info@ploggingnigeria.org and the number thereabout. Thank you so much.
Wow. Hey. Wow. Different GSAGs and their doings. This is great. You used your phone to present, right? And it's very awesome. Well done. Well done, Ebony. Well done. It's good to see that you kept to time. It's not met up. I mean, you didn't reach up to your time and you delivered well. Well done to your team. I can see your GSAM. She did very great. Well done. Okay, so without further ado, we call the next GSAG. Are you ready now, Motorsports? Are you ready? I think Favor has been saying she's the one to present, and we're not muting her. Is she still there? Cricket sport, are you ready? Please raise your hand if you are ready. Favor, okay. I think she has risen her hand now. Yeah, Favor, speak to me. Are you ready? Are you the presenter for Motorsports?
Yes, I am.
Okay, they're gonna co-host you now. So please, you have your remaining 5 minutes. Okay, so please go ahead and use it well. Thank you.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Please go ahead, we can hear you.
Motorsports is defined broadly as competitive racing by equivalent circuits. These machines includes motorcycles, motocross, karts, historical cars, drag, open wheel, single seat, sport, GT, Formula Ford, touring cars, rallying, sports, compact, kart, IRL, and Formula One. Then the concept of sustainability as a truth, attributed to the environmental movement of the 1960s and 1970s, whose origin in turn traces back to the 18,000s New England transcendentalist movement in the United States. Sustainability is underpinned by 3 core pillars of ecological sustainability, social sustainability, economic sustainability, and cultural sustainability. Their intersection. Owing to motorsport's characteristic significant carbon footprint, the world of motorsport has found itself at a fascinating intersection with sustainability, with the aim of marrying adrenaline-fueled excitement with eco-conscious practices. This is a particularly welcome evolution, reflecting a broader societal shift toward sustainability. Motorsports' contribution to climate change. Motorsports contribute immensely to climate change as a result of, but not limited to, their heavy reliance on fossil fuel. Traditional motorsport events typically use large amounts of petrol and other fossil fuels, which generate significant emissions and contribute to exert environmental impact is through racing events, which often lead to excessive waste generation and expenditure of non-renewable energy via transportation, which sports fans regularly do individually. Existing climate change mitigation and adaptation efforts in the world of motorsports. The development and use of improved engine technology in racing vehicles to reduce harmful emissions is a mitigation effort seen from automotive manufacturers who are in turn driven by tightened vehicle emission standards. A range of alternative fuels are as well in use now in auto racing due to the fact that they do not combust and produce CO2. Some of these fuels are diesel, ethanol, and hydrogen. The Impaired Racing Green project of the Imperial College in London, project Dublin as a racing event, aimed to design, build, and raise a zero-emission electric hybrid fuel racing. Trade on an internal combustion engine. Recommended climate change mitigation approaches. A viable approach is to promote the use of fully electric vehicles powered by renewable energy sources. Electric vehicles are already gaining popularity in some motorsport disciplines, such as electric car racing. Proposed by Green Car Congress is a mechanical kinetic energy recovery system, KERS. This KERS is significant because it is claimed that it can recover 400 kilojoules of lost energy per lap. It is believed to represent a more compact, lighter, and eco-friendly approach than electric batteries. In order to reduce overall environmental impact of motorsport events, measures should be put in place to reduce waste generation. Carpooling, public transportation, and lift sharing should be encouraged, as well as use of renewable energy sources to power events. Opportunities for sustainability in motorsports, technology innovation, alternative fuels, circular economy and recycling, carbon offsetting and neutralization, sustainable event management, and the call to action. Advocate for policy changes, support sustainable initiatives, raise awareness, invest in sustainable stakeholders. Thank you.
Stop sharing. Unmute yourself. Yeah. Are you done? Okay, it seems like you are done. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Probably it looks like you were not ready for the debate. Probably the person that's supposed to present did not show up, or maybe network. That's why we advise that everyone should just be ready in the GSAG. But some people will end up leaving it for just one person, and this is how it shows. Okay, to me, I don't know if others saw it, but it seems like you just read slide for us, right? But well done. Okay, so we move because we are running out of time. Motorsport GSAG, well done. Okay, our others here, please chair. Oh no, it's not easy to present. It's not easy. So we call on cricket sports now. Cricket sports, are you ready? Cricket sports, are you ready? Please raise your hand. Who is the presenter? Raise your hand. Let's unmute you. It's like they are not ready. Cricket sports, I call again. Are you ready? Raise your hand, please. Okay. It's going on. Tennis sports, are you ready, please? Tennis sports, are you ready? Let's quickly round off. We still have our lecture and we must attend it. Our barrister is waiting. Cricket sports, tennis sports. Tennis sports, are you ready? What's happening to you people? You're not ready. Okay, I can see cricket. Legbo Adama. Okay, so please, I'm unmuting you now. Can you hear me? Speak to me, please. Can you hear me? Unmute yourself and speak. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Okay. Please, if you are in cricket sports, tell the presenter that he's not connected to the mic because we can't hear him. He should probably check his network, or someone else should come and present on his behalf. When next we call cricket sport, no response, it's going to be 0. Okay, so I think tennis, they are ready. Francis Arinze. Francis Arinze, are you the one presenting? Speak to me, please. Francis, can you hear me? Unmute and speak. Are you the presenter? Miriam,
Okay.
you are ready to.
Good evening. I'm not the presenter. My head is going to come in now and present.
Who is the person?
Engineer Efosa and Miriam, Mrs. Miriam also.
Okay, I think I can see them. Then why did you raise your hand? Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Let me unmute Miriam. Miriam Yusuf.
Good evening, ma.
Yes, please. Are you the presenter?
Yes, ma. There's 2 of us.
Okay, who is going first?
I'm going first.
Okay, so please kindly co-host her. Who is the second person? Miracle, right? The person raising his hand now, let me unmute him. Let me be very sure. Yes, Miracle.
Yeah,
are you
hi.
also presenting?
Yes, I'm presenting with Miriam. So as she will start and then hand over to me to conclude. So
Okay, awesome. Okay,
yeah,
they're gonna
we should be
co-host you.
made co-host so that when it's time I just unmute.
Yeah, you're gonna be made co. I want to just be sure. Okay, fine. So Miriam Yusuf, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can, ma.
Awesome. So we're gonna be starting now. You have to present us, right? So you're gonna start. Remember, 7 minutes. Cricket sports, I'm gonna say for the last time, please. After this, you are the next. When we call you, you don't respond. We'll just take it that you're not ready. So inform your GSAG that you should get ready, okay? And the last sport. All right. So without further ado, tennis, please. You have 7 minutes. Your time starts now. Thank you.
Good evening, GSAMs and colleagues. My name is Mariam Yusuf from the GSAG Tennis Sports. I'll be speaking on the topic, climate change, a big deal in tennis sports. And I'll be speaking mostly on an overview of tennis sports, the effects of tennis on climate, tennis, a recipient of climate change effects, climate change mitigation efforts, and opportunities for sustainability in tennis. An overview of tennis sports. Tennis was originally known as lawn tennis. It's a game where we have opposing players, either 1 on both sides or 2 on both sides, known as singles and doubles, respectively. They use rackets to hit a ball of specified size and weight to bounce over a net on a rectangular court. Tennis sports was invented in Birmingham in England in the late 19th century, and it is one of the most popular sports in the world of today. From Wimbledon to US Open, tennis has a lot of worldwide tournaments. The effects of tennis on climate. Tennis might not be the first sport to come to your mind when you think about climate change. However, it has contributed to climate change in a number of ways. First, travel and transportation. Tennis players, officials, and even fans often have to travel long distances to tournaments, and this generates significant carbon emissions. Also, construction and maintenance. Building and maintaining tennis facilities involves resource-intensive processes most times. Resource use. Tennis equipment often rely on energy-intensive manufacturing processes, which have associated environmental impacts. Also, waste generation. Tennis tournaments generate substantial amount of waste, including single-use plastics like PET water bottles and packaging. Energy consumption. Tennis courts require a lot of electricity to light and cool the tennis courts, as well as to run essential equipment like scoreboards and video screens. Tennis, a recipient of climate change effects. A 2023 study by the Associated Press showed that maximum temperatures in the 4 Grand Slams collectively have risen by approximately 2.8 degrees Celsius since 1988. Extreme weather conditions caused by climate change has affected tennis in several ways, including incomplete tournaments. For example, during the 2023 Wimbledon Championships, just this year, over 10 matches were paused as a result of excessive rainfalls. Also, heat waves. Heat waves have huge effect on tennis as they affect players and even non-players such as the ball boys and the ball girls, and even the tennis ball itself. The effect of heat waves were even felt more during the 2023 US Open back in July, where it was reported that a lot of players were affected by the extreme heat during their games. And my colleague, Miracle, will take over from here.
Thank you very much. So we've seen how tennis contributes to climate change and how climate change affects tennis as well. Now we're going to see the efforts that tennis is making in terms of positively contributing to climate change. In 2019, tennis, the 4 major Grand Slam tournaments for tennis signed onto the Sports for Climate Action Framework, which is the UNFCCC in 2019. And the 5 principles they committed to was to, 1, undertake systematic efforts to promote greater environmental responsibility, reduce overall climate impact, educate for climate action, promote sustainable and responsible consumption, and to advocate for climate action through communication. Specific examples of this we've seen in international tennis tournaments is that they've reduced the number of paper that they've used, and they've also encouraged fans to travel to events using public transportation as opposed to private transportation. Next slide, please. What are the opportunities for sustainability in tennis? I'm just going to go through them. So tennis court surfaces, there's been a push to use more eco-friendly court surfaces like clay or artificial grass in order to reduce water consumption. Energy efficiency, there's a need to implement energy efficient lighting and heating or cooling systems for indoor courts to reduce energy consumption. Recycling programs, there's been there's an increased bid for tennis court materials to be recycled in order to prevent the production of more materials. Sustainable apparel and equipment has also been promoted in order to use more sustainable clothing for tennis matches. Transportation, fans have been encouraged to carpool to events. They've also been encouraged to use public transportation. Tennis ball recycling, this is also a way to encourage sustainability, such that balls that are used can be used for charitable programs or sent off to other parts where tennis are played instead of being sent to dump sites. We also look to promote sustainable events. This is a way to create awareness for people to adopt more sustainable practices, such as using single-use plastic or engaging in compostable food. Education and awareness, we've seen a whole lot of tennis players come out today through social media to promote sustainability and awareness among players, coaches, and fans. There's been a bid for tennis courts as well to use natural landscaping instead of having to use artificial means for tennis. Lastly, community involvement. More communities have been encouraged to get involved in tennis as well and to carry out local environmental initiatives to improve conservation efforts. All of these are some of the opportunities that are available in tennis to achieve sustainability. Next slide, please. Next slide, please, as we conclude. So in conclusion, climate change is a pressing global environmental issue. It requires the stakeholders of all stakeholders across board, including government, public and private corporations and NGOs. Sports is not left out. Tennis is doing its best as much as it can in able to achieve sustainability. And according to Murad Nassar, the environment is no one's property to destroy. It is everyone's responsibility to protect it. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah, can you hear me now? Thank you very much. Well done, tennis. GSAG. You guys did great. Well, did great. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, the last two sports. Are you people ready now? The last two sports, cricket and athletics. Athletics, let me see if you are ready. Who is the presenter? Raise your hand. Cleopas, okay? I'm gonna unmute you, so please speak. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Okay, are you ready
Hello,
to
I
present
can.
now?
I am.
How many people are presenting
Yes,
on your
ma'am.
GSAG?
Just me, ma'am.
Okay, so
Hello?
yeah, you have 7 minutes. Your time starts now. So go ahead.
You want to share my slide?
Yes, please. You have been made co-host. So go ahead, share your slide and start. You have 7 minutes. Your time has started. Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead, or your time has started. Cricket sports. Someone can help him to present, though, because I don't understand. The network is probably affecting him at the site, and his time has started. So cricket sports, who is helping him out? Or if are not ready? Our time is fast spent. We want to round off, please. We still have our lecture. So we can hear you.
Okay.
We can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
So I'll be speaking on cricket. Hello?
Put your slide in presentation mode and start, please. You already have 2 minutes has already passed of your time, so you have 5 more minutes.
Can you see it now? Hello, can you see it?
Just
Hello?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So cricket sport and the change in climate. From the pitch to the planet, cricket green revolution, changing the game for a sustainable future. I am Adam Akribas from cricket sport. Introduction. Cricket sport is a bat and ball sport played by many nations around the world, from South America, Austria, United Kingdom, and to the West Indies. It's a game consisting of 11 players each, and the aim is to run down each other's score. The game is played on a pitch, a rectangular pitch of 22 meters long. So unlike football, it's also 11 players, but this cricket, you don't use your leg. You make use of the bat and the ball and other protective equipment for this event. So moving on, it's more on description of the game. You can see from the slide here, cricket equipment are all listed here, from the glove to the ball, the boots, and other equipment that are used for this event. Sadly, is not really played in this part of the world. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Hello? 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 So moving on, contribution of sports of contribution
Please
of
just
cricket.
continue.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Okay. Contribution of cricket sport to climate change. As other group also said, cricket is not far apart. Starting from the pitch use a lot of water to water the pitch and keep the grasses alive. Then the humans that come into the stadium, they constitute a lot of load to the earth crust. And in some parts of the world like Asia, China, and all those countries with high population, we have cases of earthquake. When the load affects the tectonic plates, it causes volcanic eruption at most times. So those are disadvantages of cricket sports to the climate. Now to the advantages. There are devices you can put into the cricket stadium, like the pavement here. You can see this man stepping on this. This is a machine which converts kinetic energy to electricity. So it's placed around the stadium. When they march on it, generate electricity, which powers the lighting of the stadium, the TV, and other things. And this is it's not carbon. It doesn't release any form of carbon to the atmosphere. It's pure. So it's encouraged to use devices like this in the cricket stadium and also other buildings too. You can also use it in your home anywhere. Convert kinetic energy to electricity. We also have electric bikes here and planting of trees. They are all advised to help in the case of reduction of carbon and make the environment eco-friendly. Moving on, climate change and its impact to the sports. So from the fourth item here, impact, the impact is on water availability. As I said earlier, the water that is used to water the fish, to sustain the grasses, leads to reduction in water in the water table. So it really also affects climate in that regard. Introduction of natural phenomena. In some part of the world, they have heat wave. When people gather to play this game of cricket, there is a lot of gases that come together. And when people sweat, armpits, and all those smells, they cause discomfort. Moving on, drought is another thing again. The climate change now, the result of carbon emission to the atmosphere, it's a lot of issues. One of it is drought. The rains don't come as usual again, and that leads to dryness of the grass. And according to World Health Organization, it is estimated that between 2030 to 2050, there will be increment in death of people due to malaria, diarrhea, and heat stress. And moving on, climate change and its mitigation and adaptation effect of climate sports. This from the first list here, creation of sustainable stadiums. It's advised that plants are infused into this stadium. You can see from this picture here, plants are infused with this system, with the stadiums to help it become eco-friendly. It helps also in the change of gases, carbon and oxygen to make the place eco-friendly. Whereas it's a green transportation system. They advise people to use green trains, green electric cars and bicycles to go to the stadium. And also use of public trains so that you won't be using cars that tends to release carbon to the atmosphere and cause a lot of issues.
Time is up. Thank you. Your time is up.
Finally.
Your time is up. Stop sharing. Thank you. The next GSAG. Your time is up. Yes. Well done to you all. But it kind of showed that you guys are not really prepared. Okay, so we don't have much time. We have the last GSAG now. So please, are you ready? Are you ready? The last GSAG, athletics. Please raise your hand. Raise your hand, athletics GSAG. You are the last people on the for the presentation. I'll call one more time. If you are not ready, then we'll say 0 for you all. Are you ready? Okay, I think I can see.
I'm ready.
Okay, fine. I thought we're not ready. Okay, yes.
Yes,
so Ayomide, speak to me. Are you the presenter, please? Ayomide, unmute and speak. Are you the presenter?
Yes, I'm the second presenter, ma.
Yes, I'm. Okay, you guys are two. Great. Please, host we co-host you. Okay, yeah,
Okay, ma.
Uju, Perpetual, I think, yeah, so both of you will be co-hosted. Who is going first?
Perpetual, ma.
Perpetual, okay, so you've been co-hosted. Like you all know, 7 minutes, right? 7 minutes. So your time starts now.
Yes,
Are you not sharing your screen? It seems like you want to show us your beautiful face this night.
I've already shared the screen, ma.
Okay, we're just saying it. All right, great. You can continue. Your time had already started.
Okay, let me just start since I think our network is fluctuating. Good evening, everyone. My name is Odejobi Ayomide, and I'm presenting on behalf of GSAG Athletic Sports. So what's athletic sports? Now, athletic sports is any, can we hear me? Hello? Okay, thank you. Now, athletic sports is any physical activity that has to involve skill, fitness, and endurance. You know, athletic sports is so broad. It involves running, swimming. You know, we even have other sports like baseball and things like that. Track and field events and things like that. So there are different examples, just like how I said, of athletic sports. Now, this slide shows pictures of athletic sports. Now, how do athletic sports, or how does it affect or contribute to climate changes? Now, it's important for us to know that every human activity that we do, whether you are walking, whether you are playing, whatever you are doing, it has effect on the environment and actually affects the climate. Now, we know that climate is like the weather condition of a place. Now, just like how we have been taught at Green Switch Academy, there are some activities that actually affect the climate change, especially when it involves athletic sports. For example, now we know of Noga, where sports men and women from universities travel to another university to either play games, to run, and things like that. So traveling has effects on the climate. Now, another one is the energy that is used to power sports facilities. You know that gyms and stadiums, some use electricity, some don't. Fossil fuel, everything contributes to climate changes. Now, how does climate change have effect on athletic sports? Now, we know that there are some sports that cannot be performed under some certain weather conditions. For example, now running, you cannot say that you want to be running under the rain or when there's thunderstorm or whatever. Now, we need to be very conscious of how we take care of our environment, because these climate changes can actually reduce our chances of participating in these athletic sports. Now, for example, this 2019 Nigerian professional football league season, there was heavy flooding and the sport had to be postponed. Now we see the next slide shows an example of, can you see how everywhere is flooded? Now, there is no how a track and field events can actually take place in this place, not even football, not tennis, not any other sports. Now, you can find more information about this in Nigerian articles, in news, like Guardian, Nigeria, The Punch. If you read the sports sections, you see more information about this. Now, the existing and recommended athletic sports climate change mitigation and adaptation efforts. Now, we need to know, the thing we need to know is that people are actually trying, and we need to actually give people their arts for doing that. Like, people are actually trying, people are learning new ways in in which they can try to like make all these things stand in place. And some of these are that people have been trying to reduce the amount of waste in sports complexes. People have been trying to use new energy efficiency systems and things like that. But our efforts are not enough. We need to do more. An example of things that we can do more is that we can use more renewable energy sources. We can improve water efficiency and conservation practices at sports facilities. We can encourage eco-friendly athletic apparel like clothing made from recycled materials. Now, what are the opportunities for sustainability in athletic sports? Now, the first thing is that we need to raise awareness about climate change and how it affects athletic sports. Now, if a runner knows that, if anything I'm doing or everything I'm doing, if climate change happens now, if there's thunderstorm, I cannot, carry out my sport effectively. That person will be conscious of whatever he or she is doing. That person will be conscious of how he or she dumps plastics. That person will be conscious that, okay, this particular material, instead of just dumping it and just leaving it alone, I can recycle it and use it again. Now, then another thing, organizational level, just like how we talked about CSR. Now, organizations should be well informed and they should take it as their responsibility that, okay, we actually want to improve the environment. We actually want to make our own, all these organizations, companies, industries that use big engines that have to be releasing fossil fuels and everything. They'll be more conscious that, okay, how do we do it in such a way that it will not affect the environment? Now, there's a call to action. This is not just a one-man thing. It's not just a one industry thing. It's a thing that has to do with all of us. It starts with us. Whatever you feed the environment is what it will give out to you. If you treat your environment well, it will bring good results. Now, we need to practice the 4 R's, which are reduce, reuse, recycle, and recover. Now, always make sure that the materials that you use, instead of just dumping them anyhow, recycle them. And also, just like how we have been learning in Green Switch Academy, more people should join an organization like this. More people should join a community like this so that we'll be educated, just like what we were educated about. We have even practice, like today now, we're taught that, okay, there are things that we can make from recycled materials. Many of us created new things. Like I said, I decorated my wall using old piece of calendar. I know someone that made a flower vase and different things like that. Then you should also speak up against policies that do not support things like this. Then, now, in conclusion, climate change is a very, very serious issue. And we need to know that. We need to know that the ozone layer is being depleted day after day. We need to know that the greenhouse effect is real. So with this knowledge, we can know that, okay, we'll be conscious of how we treat our environment, we'll be conscious of everything that we do so that it does not affect the athletic sports. Now, the future of our planet is in our hands. And every action we take today, we have a lasting impact on everything that we do. Thank you very much. My name remains Odejobi IMD, and my other group members are Noria, Perpetua, and our GSAM is Plogging. Thank you, Greenness, for your time.
Okay, awesome. Well done. Before I continue, you were trying to call GSAM. Is GSAM is being pronounced as GSAM, right? It's not GSA. Okay, so it seems like, okay, the other presenter is no longer presenting. Okay, your time is even up. Okay, that's fine. Well done, athletics. That was a great one. Yeah, I love the presentation. So we are done. We are done with all the presentations. Please go to the chat room and clap for everybody. Clap for yourself, clap for your GSAM, clap for the presenters, clap for your GSAG. So go to the chat room. We are about to begin our lecture, and inform your GSAG to come online because we are about to learn and relearn and unlearn. I'm not seeing any response. Can you hear me all? Please go to the chat room, clap for yourself, your presenters. It's not easy to present, so do you know? People usually run, from presenting because it's not easy to present, especially if it's your first time. We understand that almost most of us here, we're not used to this. Maybe it's your first time presenting on Zoom, it's your first time speaking virtually or something. So this is the reason why the GSA is being set up. You get to learn a lot of things, only if you are willing to learn. Okay, I can see the emojis. Awesome. So without further ado, our time is really fast spent. So please, our barrister is on stage. Our barrister is on the call, okay? Who is excited? I don't like the numbers that I'm saying, you know. Please go to your different GSAGs and inform them that it's very important they are on this stage. They did not come to cheer on their own, you know, presenters, and now they are trying to miss the lecture. Please, we must not miss it. We must not miss, tell them not to miss it, okay? Remember, the GSAT continues. The GSAT continues. So at least. Okay, all right, so please, I'm gonna be speaking. Hello. Who is that person, please? Okay. So please, I'll be calling on presenter and I'll be calling on our barrister, okay? So I'm gonna quickly read her profile. So are you excited? Please, as I'm reading her profile and I'm welcoming her, please ensure you welcome her. She needs it, encourage her and participate well, okay? All right, so we have our barrister here, Anu Oluwapo Charity. She's an assiduous lawyer who provides legal and advisory services to clients with special interest in environmental law, dispute resolution, immigration law, data protection, and company secretarial. She bagged an LLB from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, after which she proceeded to the Nigeria Law School and was also called to the largest bar in Africa as a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. With a special interest in environmental sustainability, her foray in the green space started in her penultimate year at the university when she took environmental law as a course. In the same year, she participated in a campus cleanup organized by Plogging Nigeria, after which she joined and actively took part in activities of Plogging Nigeria Club, OAU, on and off campus. Till date, she is an active member of Plogging Nigeria, where she serves in the club's National Executive Council as a legal and compliance officer. She is also a tutor in the club's Green Switch Academy, an environmental education setup that teaches about eco-consciousness, climate change, and sustainability, and sustainable development goals, the SDGs. Okay, so without further ado, please go to the chat room and make welcome our very own barrister. We are so happy to have her. Please, host, help us present her slides. Help us share her slides, please, as she comes on stage. Okay, so please, I'm not seeing her welcome. If you don't welcome her, I won't bring her on stage. Please welcome her. Welcome her and inform your GSAG. Let them join in. We're about to learn, okay, the law aspect, the legal angle. Okay, so yes. So we are welcome, Barrister Charity. Please, you have the floor, ma. You can start. Please, the host, help us present or share our slides, please. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Plugger Gift, for that warm welcome. And I want to say good evening to the Greenies. I hope you've all been enjoying the academy so far. It's good to be here tonight. Thank you very much for having me. Okay, so we don't have much time, so I would like to proceed to the lecture. Okay, so my slides, I don't know who's presenting my slides. Plugger Gift. Please, who is projecting my slides?
Okay, yeah. Gigi Sam, please, can you go ahead and help us share it? Is the one that would do that, please.
Oh, all
Gigi
right.
Sam, Chris, please, are you there?
Okay.
You can help us share. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Gisam Chris. Okay, so once again, good evening, everyone. So to start with, we'll be considering the topic that says legal angle to waste management in Nigeria. Although the theme or the bigger topic is legal angle to environmental sustainability in Nigeria. However, that topic will be too wide, so we need to just streamline it. We need to just summarize it. So we'll be looking specifically at legal angle to waste management in Nigeria, and even this particular topic we'll have to summarize it, because if you want to go into details, we'll need a lot of hours to do that. Okay, so to the next slide, please. Chris. Okay, so I know that a lot of us are aware that we have laws regulating different areas of human endeavor. So we have law regulating traffic, law, regulating your relationship with another person. I mean, with your fellow individual. We've heard of, some of us have heard of civil, criminal law, different laws. Even medical law, we see people in the medical department, they have their laws. So virtually every area of human endeavor, every field has a law regulating them. So environmental aspects too, environmental sustainability or the environment generally too, there are laws regulating our activities. As humans activity in relationship or with respect to the environment. So the funny thing is that a lot of us are not even aware of the laws regulating our relationship with the environment. So a lot of us have not even heard about any law, or we are not even sure, or we don't even really know about the laws that we have. Environmental laws now that we have, say, even in your state or in your local government, in your state, not to talk of the whole of Nigeria and then all over the world. Okay, so because of time, I will not be able to ask questions. I would have loved to ask if anybody is aware of any law regulating the environment in Nigeria, whether it is a state law, a national law, or even, let's even leave Nigeria and go to the wider space. Globally now, are there laws regulating the environment? Well, anyways, anyone who knows any law can just help us type in the chat room. If you know any law, please help us drop it in the chat room. Any law, any environmental law, whether in Nigeria, it might be a state law, it might be a national law, an act, and it might also be an international document. So it might be a treaty, might be an agreement on the international scene. Okay, so no chats. It's safe to assume that nobody on this call or in this meeting knows. Okay, someone, let me see if someone is dropping something. Okay, someone said is meant ma. Okay, or I am not sure what that means, but then okay, let's proceed. I think we can always come back to that later. Okay, so in 2014, the United Nations Environment Programme estimated that leaders have signed up to an impressive 500 internationally recognized agreements. Now, 500. As of 2014, report of 2014. As of 2014, we've had up to 500 internationally recognized agreements in the past 50 years, including, this law relates to different areas, different aspects of the environment. So that's 2014. Now imagine from 2014 till now. Just imagine how many laws would have been signed or would have been passed since then. Let's move on. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, thank you very much. So now when we say environment is actually now actually beyond your immediate surrounding. So the word environment has assumed international significance. It has become international parlance, such that when you say environment, you're not just talking about your immediate environment. You're not just talking about your state. You're talking about even globally now, because things like that affect the atmosphere or that affect, issues like global warming, climate change, and they're not just limited to your state. They're not just limited to your country. They now assume international. And then we all know that recently, not even recently, for the past, say, 10 years now, 15 years now, there has been a lot of movement or a lot of talk about the environment, about climate change, about ozone layer depletion, about global warming, different topics. We even about how we can use resources sustainably, how we can use our resources in a way that future generations will not suffer. So we now see movement, we now see organizations, we now see even world leaders coming up to say that, okay, how can we use our resources? How can we also safeguard the whole world, the whole earth, such that there won't be crisis at the end? And that's another reason why we are having this lecture tonight. Another reason why this academy is also put in place, so that we can teach people, can educate people on how to be sustainable, on how to practice sustainability in even little things. So we have different agreements, different laws trying to regulate the environment, human activities, relationship with the environment, especially when it comes to the issue of management. So when we talk about waste management, generation comes in first. People generate waste. Then they generate waste. Then we now talk about, we see the way people dispose waste indiscriminately. We see people buying things they don't even need, and at the end, these things will just end up somewhere where they should not be. Please, can you help us share the next slide? Okay, so let's go to the definition of waste. Okay, so just to summarize this part, we all know that waste is something that we consider not useful, something that you think is no longer useful for you. So the issue is not whether the thing is still good or not. The moment you consider something not useful to you, it has become waste. That's my own personal definition of it. So the moment you have something, maybe it's still a good clothes. We've seen that's been used before. So some people will bring them to the market and sell them because they think it's still useful, or because they think some people can still use them. That same clothes, some people will dispose of them. They will either burn the clothes, or just dump it somewhere as refuse and all of that. So we have different definition of waste depending on who is saying what. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Next slide, please. Thank you, sir. Okay, so in Nigeria, currently, we have a lot of laws. A lot of environmental laws now. I'm not talking about general laws. Environmental laws now, specifically, we have a lot of them. And if you look at these reports, the Environmental Law Research Institute compiled a list of up to 100 laws and statutory institutions regulating waste management in Nigeria, both at the federal and state levels. So a lot of laws have been passed over the time. We have laws. The issue is not whether or not we have laws. The issue now is about whether you are aware of these laws. So we have a lot of laws, but then the awareness is low. So the overall body of laws regulating waste in Nigeria comes in form of course, statutory enactments, talk of National Assembly, State Assembly, and even local governments. They have their own, laws and policies and what have you. To the next slide, please. Okay, so laws that we have currently in Nigeria. Just some, I mean few, not even some now, few, very few of them, just to open our eyes or just to show us a bit of what we have in Nigeria. So number one law is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And this law is the foundation, is the grand norm, is the law on which other laws, any other law in Nigeria stands on. So they all derive their roots from this constitution. So I think many of us should have heard about the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it should not be new to us. However, I want to look at a part of this constitution that states that the Nigerian state is empowered to protect and improve the environment and safeguard the water, air, land, forest, and wildlife. To this end, the state is expected to formulate and direct policies which engender the promotion of a planned and balanced economic development, bearing in mind that all economic activities take place on land, air, or water. So now, even Section 20 of our Constitution states that the state shall protect and improve the environment and safeguard the water, the air, land, forest, and wildlife of Nigeria. So we can see that even the Constitution specifically provides for environmental protection. It provides for environmental sustainability. So our lawmakers, they recognize the need for us to protect, to safeguard our environment, because any other thing you do, it depends on the environment. The economy cannot prosper, cannot flourish if the environment is not in a good state. Now, imagine that, okay, so let's take, for instance, this issue of oil spillage. Let's imagine that there is oil spillage everywhere. If there is oil spillage, you cannot even farm. You cannot farm because everywhere would be contaminated already. You cannot even use the soil for farming. Everywhere will just be contaminated and everything. Imagine that there is no place to farm. There is no source of income. I mean, agricultural wise now, no food is coming in, no product to export or anything. Just imagine that. So even to do any transaction, you need the environment. You need your environment to do anything. So our lives as humans now depend also, in fact, majorly on our environment. Depends majorly on our environment. Anything you breathe in, anything you breathe in, anything you eat, anything you consume will definitely affect your system. Okay, I think something is wrong with the slides. I don't know if Jisam Chris is still on this call, but the slides is no longer showing. Plugger gift.
Yeah, Marissa. Yeah, I think is logged out, probably network. Okay, I believe it's going to join back. Yeah, I think network must have logged, but it's not in the room.
All right.
Okay, I think it's back.
Let's just hold on for you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Well done, ma.
Thank you very much. Okay, so let's move to the next law. We've seen that the Constitution provides for environmental protection, environmental sustainability. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so let's see the Environmental Impact Assessment Act. So this law is actually old, and the purpose of this act is to ensure that environmental factors are considered while likely adverse or hazardous environmental impacts are identified and minimized before a decision is taken by any person. So let me just summarize this. So the gist is that this law provides that whenever you want to do any project, anything, be it that you want to start a manufacturing company, you must first consider, one of the things you must do, one of the preliminary things you must do is to consider the likely impact of your activity on the environment. So take, for instance, you want to build a plant, say for manufacturing a particular chemical, or say manufacturing soap, and let's say soap or even plastic. So there's some products that when you manufacture them, when you generate the residue that you have on ground might be chemicals, and that chemical might actually be hazardous. It might be a dangerous chemical. Now, I'm talking about the residue now from what you produced. Let's say you produce soap, but then the residue, the remnant is a chemical that you have to dispose of, but the chemical itself is still strong. Now, we've seen cases where people will go and dispose such chemicals inside the water, say inside the sea, inside the stream, in a flowing water, in a body of water and all of that. We've seen cases like that. Of course, that's very wrong. It's totally wrong. So I'm just trying to tell you that this EIA Act states that anything you want to do, you want to build a skyscraper, you want to do this, you must first consider the environmental impact of what you want to do. Now, when you do that, you submit a report. The report will contain the likely risk that the environment is to face from your activity. You now also go ahead to also prepare, make plans. You make plans to curtail the consequences of your action. Say, for instance, you want to dispose those things or the chemical. Your plan is to dispose the residue, this chemical now, somewhere. You have to make sure, for example, you can say, okay, what I'm going to do is before I dispose of the chemical, I must neutralize it. If it is a toxic substance, you must say, okay, this is what I would do. Before I dispose it, I must neutralize it such that if it comes in contact with water or with anything, maybe with soil, the effect will be minimal on that soil or on that water. So, but of course, it's an old law, but we know what happens to all these laws. Most times people don't even know. They're not even aware that we have something like environmental impact assessment. So let's go to the next law. Thank you, sir. So we have the harmful waste special criminal provisions. So the gist of this law is that the law prohibits all activities relating to the purchase, sale, importation, transit, transportation, and deposit, even storage of harmful waste without lawful authorization. So now, not only does it prohibit, it also prescribes penalties for violation. So let's take, for instance, the issue of chemical that I mentioned. So you want to deal in chemicals. People sell chemicals. I mean, countries sell chemicals. Now I'm talking about toxic chemicals that are useful. They can be used to produce some other things. But before you can deal in these chemicals, you must take permission. You must seek permission. You must obtain permission from the requisite authority before you can deal in this substance. So it is wrong for you to deal in this substance without having obtained permission from the government or from the requisite body. So there are some things that are very harmful. Even sometimes there are some electronic materials. I'm talking about electronic equipment now that you even need approval before you can deal in them, before you can buy and sell them. There's some electronics, because by the time they become waste, if you dispose them anyhow, they would definitely affect the environment in a bad way. Let's move to the next law, please. We are running out of time, so I'm trying to rush. Please pardon me if I'm talking too fast. I'm just trying to beat time. Okay, so the National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency Act. So in short, NESTRA Act. So the gist of this act, the act is the major, okay, so apart from the Constitution, this act is the major law regulating the environment in Nigeria. So before this act, there was the FEPA Act. That one was the old one. So this one is the new one. This one repealed the old law. So this is the new one on grant. So we have the NESTRA itself. That's the agency in charge of environmental sustainability in Nigeria. I don't know if you've heard about them, but it is called NESTRA. So this agency, what they do majorly is to oversee, is to ensure environmental protection in Nigeria. So, and this agency has been empowered to make regulations. Now, there is an act, NESTRA Act. This act established the agency. So we have the agency, which is NESTRA. So now NESTRA itself has power to now make regulations. Regulations are, let me call them small laws, mini laws. They are mini laws. So now NESTRA itself has let me say they've shown out about close to maybe 30 regulations now, regulating different areas of the environment. We have ones regulating noise pollution, a regulation that prohibits noise pollution. We have one that prohibits open burning, all these indiscriminate burning of waste. You just pack your clothes out, you say, I'm not using it again, you put fire, say you're burning. There are laws prohibiting that. We also have a law regulating littering. That's one of the regulations that Nestria has, shunned out over time. We also have ones regulating manufacturing industry, regulating communication, telecommunication, different regulations. But if you want to know more about the Nestria regulations, you can just go to the website, just go to their website, Nestria website. You will see all their regulations, beautiful regulations, beautiful ones. But then a lot of us are not even aware of these regulations. We don't even know. And these regulations they're not just there. They even provide for penalties. They have penalties for any violation of the regulations. So I took an example here, the National Environmental Sanitation and Waste Control Regulation 2009. So the purpose of this regulation is to adopt and promote sustainable and environmentally friendly practices in environmental sanitation and waste management to minimize pollution. So the best way to learn about these laws is to just go to the website, go to Nestria website, search for their regulations, you will see them. You can just download as many as you want. So next slide, please. Okay, so there is also national policy on plastic waste management. This one is a policy. So policy are not, they are not laws. They don't have that power, that force like a law. So a law is more powerful because it will also provide for sanction. It will provide for penalty. Say punishment. If you do this, this is what's going to happen to you. But for policies, they are more like guidelines. They are more like a document stating what the state wants to achieve, what you want to achieve, and how you plan to achieve it, and your overall objective, what you want to achieve at the end of everything. So this policy on plastic waste management, so it's just to make Nigerian cities, ecosystems, and human settlements clean, plastic litter free, and sustainable. So ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns that recognize the environmental guiding principles. So in short, just to summarize it, the purpose of this policy is to ensure that our environment is plastic free, that there are no littering, plastic everywhere, plastic in the ocean, plastic in the in the drainage system. But then we know what we have currently in Nigeria. We know what's going on in Nigeria. We know how plastic is just everywhere. They're just everywhere nowadays. So, but we have something, we have a working document that seeks to regulate, plastic pollution in Nigeria. That's just what I want us to know. So to the next slide, please. Hello, next slide, please. Okay, so now we're moving on to waste management authorities in Nigeria. Let me just start by saying that as part of the proactive measures by the government to preserve the environment and protect its inhabitants from hazardous waste and nuisance, the Nigerian government and several states have established various governmental authorities and agencies that would ensure efficient and effective modes of managing waste in the country. So I know a lot of us, we don't even know the agency that is responsible for waste management in our state. You don't even know your own state agency. But what I want you to know is that in all the states in Nigeria, we have an environmental agency responsible for waste management, responsible for regulation of waste, regulation of human activities when it comes to the environment. So Now, I've mentioned the national law, the national body, rather, the national agency, which is NESRA. NESRA is the national body that regulates environmental activities, waste management in Nigeria. So we also have the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency. This one is streamlined, or is basically for the oil and gas industry. So that's not TRA. That one is majorly to regulate pollution in the oil and gas industry. So we also have the Federal Ministry of Environment. That's also a key body, a key agency that regulates, environmental sustainability or environmental activities in Nigeria. So now to the main one. We now have state ministries of environment. State ministries in all the states in Nigeria. We have Ministry of Environment in all the states. And apart from the Ministry of Environment, we also have an agency. An agency. You can different, in Lagos, we know of LASEPA, some states we know of Loma, different states with different names. So we have all these environmental agencies in all the states in Nigeria. So I don't know if you know about that of your state, but it is something you should find out. It is something you should know. Even if you don't know before, you should find out, just to be able to even monitor, or to be able to assess how far they are doing or what they are doing in your state. Okay, so now let's move. I want us to look at an aspect of this academy. We know that our team is focused on sports. The team is couched in a way that we want to shine light on sport activities and the relationship with environmental pollution. So now I ask the question, is sport a contributor to environmental pollution? Is sport a contributor to environmental pollution? It's a question. Now, we would say that, sport is harmless. Sport is entertainment. People go to enjoy, to relax, to support their their football club and all of that. Different reasons why people participate in football, in swimming, in basketball, in, name any sport activity that we have. So, but, it will surprise you to know that research has shown that sport events have significant environmental consequences, which often go overlooked. Sport events can act as both contributor to and potential combatants in the wider environmental crisis. So we have a report by the United Nations in 2022, and which identified climate change as one of the most pressing issues of our time, and acknowledged that unsustainable practices in sports have contributed to this. So in short, our sport activities are also contributing to pollution, not just in Nigeria, but all over the world. All over the world. So sport activities generally, they are now becoming one of the contributors, in fact, one of the leading contributors now to waste, to pollution all over the world. So there's a report that shows that in 2016, the Rio Olympic Games released 3.6 million tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, while the 2018 Russia World Cup released a further 2.16 million tons. It will surprise you. So, people are researching, scholars, institutions, they are researching about all these things. And when you go for sport events, you will see a lot of people. When talk about international events now, on international level, people will go from all parts of the world, to watch or to support their club or to support their candidate. So, but it will surprise you that even from mere transporting themselves to that place, mere transporting themselves, the food they eat, even the clothes, the jerseys, the caps, the tattoo, the paints, everything that are used, everything involved in sport activities, they actually contribute to pollution. Please, the next slide. Okay, so let's look at some activities in sports that contribute to environmental crisis. So findings have shown that traveling to and fro sports venues, supply chains in respect of sports-related equipment, the construction of stadiums, and manufacturing and distribution of event apparel may all seem relatively insignificant on the surface. However, while sport is not an obvious culprit, on a closer look, its negative effects on the planet are indisputable. So you said that should be it's the jersey just to travel over there. But if you look at it closely, you will notice that those things, they contribute a lot to environmental crisis. We know a lot of jerseys. I don't know how many jerseys all these sports people have, or how many jerseys they have in their wardrobe, and how many is being produced every year. Take even, for instance, the fans, you as a fan, for some people, they buy jersey every now and then, they change their jerseys, even to transport themselves to football competitions, say venues, stadiums. Oh, so let's talk about stadium. So there was a report that mentioned that stadiums generally, their lifespan has reduced. Lifespan of stadium has reduced in the sense that recently, the lifespan of stadiums generally is now about 30 years. So now within 30 years, or even less than 30 years now, people want to build a better one. They would now demolish the previous stadium and build another one, while some would also renovate the old one. But then there was a report that mentioned how a particular country demolished their stadium to build another one. In fact, the stadium was constructed just for a particular sports event, a particular sports activity. And after the sport activity, they demolished the stadium. And that was it. So you would imagine how much resources, let's even talk about construction materials that has gone into that stadium. Now imagine that the stadium is being demolished and there's a lot of waste. So the environmental impact of mass sports events in evidence is in their use. And we notice that carbon emissions generated by things such as food, travel, water, infrastructure, and waste. So people travel, people eat, a lot of course, you can be sure, or you can be rest assured that a lot of plastics will be generated at the event. A lot of plastics. Even some clothes, some jerseys now are made of plastic. Different innovations, and then we have a lot of waste being generated. Please, the next slide. So we want to look at the laws regulating sports and the environment now. I'm talking about laws regulating sport activities now in relation to the environment, specifically to the environment now. So it's actually unfortunate that we don't have specific laws regulating sport activities and the environment. Now, what should be done, what should not be done when there is sport activity. And now we're talking about the environment. What measures that should be taken when there are international events, sport events, and what have you. So, but then in my research, I noticed that we have some documents. Now, these documents are not laws, mind you. They are not even laws. And it is even on the international level, and they are not even laws. They are just documents. Documents saying, oh, this is what you should do, but they are not enforceable. You cannot penalize anybody for violating them. So they are not really binding. And if there's a document that is not binding on me, I can decide not to follow it. I can decide not to obey that document. I can just decide to do whatever I want. So we have this Agenda 21. This is a non-binding action plan for environmental sustainability in economic development, adopted by the UN in 1992 and reasserted in the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Although such agendas do not specifically address sports events. So this agenda does not specifically address sport events, but then it's a general document. Now, let's now go to Olympic Agenda 2020. The International Olympic Committee confirmed that it is fully aligned with the Agenda 2030 and has even adopted its framework, which has sustainable development as one of its core pillars, one of its 3 pillars. So now, the IOC announced prior to the 2021 UN Climate Conference in Glasgow that it aims to become climate positive in 2024 by reducing its direct and indirect emissions by 30% and compensating for more than 100% of its remaining emissions through the Olympic Forest Project. So this Olympic Forest Project was meant to, do some good works in the environment. So the plan was to plant a lot of trees. Now, just to, how do I put it now? Just to say, okay, this is what we are doing to minimize environmental impact of our activities. So actually, they planted a lot of trees. But then it will surprise you that at another event, trees will be cut down because they need space or they need a large expanse of land just for sport activities. So as they are doing this, they are also doing the opposite. So we see that these agendas, they are not binding. You can say A today and tomorrow you do B. So they are not binding. That's just the major thing I want us to take from it. So currently we don't have binding laws regulating sport activities and the environment. Please, let's move on. Oh, okay. So now the issues in the sport industry now, when it comes to environmental sustainability. Now, number one is the absence of mandatory regulation and legislation across the industry. So we have no, let me just say, we have no mandatory, we don't even have any at all. None. No regulation or legislation across the industry. Then number two, lack of statutory mechanism to monitor, reprimand, or sanction countries. So now we don't have bodies that will say, okay, if you do this sport activity or if you do this and if you violate any environmental law, you are going to be punished, and this will be your punishment. So we don't have bodies like that will sanction the sport industry for any violation of environmental laws. Number three, lack of consideration for existing planning and procedural rules due to emergency planning. For example, in preparation for 2018 World Cup, Russia allowed federally protected forest lands to be cut down without following the standard procedures set out in the Forest Code to create space for sports-related infrastructure. We saw what happened in Russia. So in Russia, they have to cut down trees that are protected by federal laws. They have to cut them down because they wanted to accommodate a sports activity. So there's no consideration for planning when it comes to sports industry. Number four is the lack of incentive for binding cities to expend resources, time or money into ensuring environmental measures were put in place and all of that. So now the issue is, if there are laws, say there are regulations stating that before you can do this before you can do this sport activity, you must do this first. Say you must provide a particular solution. Say, one, before you can do this, you have to plant trees. Or before you can do this, you have to make sure that there are proper drainage system. Just something, just to minimize the effects of the activities that will take place in any sport or related activity. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. We want to look at the solutions now. Number one, we need laws that are specifically tailored, laws that are industry specific. Now we have the sport industry. Now we need environmental laws that regulate the sport industry specifically, now saying that, oh, this law specifically regulates sports activities. Number two, proper monitoring and enforcement. So even when there are laws, there has to be proper monitoring and there has to be enforcement. Number three, strict sanctions. So after providing the laws, after ensuring monitoring and enforcement, you must also provide for strict sanctions. You must also punish anybody that violates these laws. Number four, compliance and support from stakeholders. Now in the sports industry, we have the body responsible for sport activities.
we also have the clubs, say all these football clubs, we have the countries, the host countries, the athletes themselves, and campaign for environmental sustainability. They can come together and even champion itself. Imagine the number of people we usually have in sports competitions. Let's take, for instance, football. When there is
Hello,
a
Barrister.
lot of people, you see the crowd. Imagine that. Oh, all right, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Hello.
I wanted to, yeah, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Well done, ma. Please, I was just thinking if we could wrap up. Probably we have questions and we could take questions. Like time is.
Yeah, we're almost done. We're almost done.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, we're almost done. Thank you. Okay, so we Environment Agency, UK Environmental Agency, actually urged the sports industry to kick out plastic pollution. So they actually industry to put an end to plastic products when it comes to the sports industry. So just like other national or less international agencies are also on the neck of all these clubs, all these athletes, and what have you. There will be a reduction. Let's say, in fact, there will be a reduction in waste, in pollution when it comes to sports activities. So let's go to the next one. Next slide, because of our time. Next slide, please. Okay, so in conclusion, the fact remains that the sports industry lacks environmental framework. There are no specific laws regulating. That's just the summary of tonight's class. Also in Nigeria and even globally, now generally, I'm talking about generally, not sports again. Generally, we have enough laws, a lot of laws, international documents, national laws, and state laws regulating human activities in relation to the environment. But the issue lies majorly with enforcement and waste management culture of individual states. So the bottom line is that generally for waste management, as individuals, we need to take that courage. We need to take that action. I mean, we all have to be responsible when it comes to waste management. You need to learn to manage your waste well. You need to learn to dispose your waste properly. You also need to even learn to reduce. In fact, refuse anything you don't need. Reject anything you don't need. Reduce anything you need. At least look at the quantity you need. Reject the rest if you don't need them. Take the one you need, and also be deliberate about sustainability. Another thing you can do is to also sensitize people. Go about campaigning, go about advocating for sustainability. We've seen that in the SDGs. We see how there is campaign all around about sustainability in all areas and all of that. So thank you very much for tonight. I'm so sorry I had to rush the class and I had to talk so fast. Thank you, everyone. I don't know if there are questions or clarifications or interventions. Thank you, Plogger Gifts, for moderating tonight's class.
Yeah, thank you, Barrister. Well done. Please, let's go and type and appreciate her for her time. Thank you, everyone, for staying to this point too. We know his time is fast spent. Thank you so much, Barrister, for that lecture. That was, I actually caught some things, and I'm sure others did too. So please, at this juncture, we'll quickly take questions. If you have questions, type them out, or you can raise your hand and we'll unmute you so you could speak. Let's take one or two questions so that we can wrap up this and go to our groups and just conclude for today. Questions, please. Clarification. suggestion, comments? Anyone? Yeah, thank you. Keep the appreciation rolling. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. See, if you don't have question, go and type in what you learned in the chat room. Just type in what you've learned so far. Yes. Okay, someone has risen his hand. Okay, Jacob, I'm going to unmute you so you could ask a question. Okay, Jacob, please go ahead. Do you have a question?
Yes, thank you very much for the enlightenment. But if I may ask, some of these agencies, we have them in our state and they're not working effectively, and the government is not doing anything about it. Is it possible for us to work to some of these agencies and talk to them, maybe enlighten them based on their rules and regulations? Because definitely I know over a year where I'm staying, for the past 8 to 9 months, if not more than, we have not had sanitation in the state. So sometimes the individual, I don't know, can you see me?
We can hear you.
So we have some of these agency, but they're not working. So what do we do? Can we write to them officially, since the government on their own perspective is not doing their best? Can we write to them? Some areas are dirty, some areas are not even improved at all. So what do we do?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I know that the same question is also in the minds of some other persons. Okay, so you asked if you can write letters. Of course, you can write letters. If it will work, you can write letters. See, the question is not even whether or not these agencies, whether or not they know their functions. They actually know their functions. They know what they should be doing. However, just like a lot of things are just happening or are just going wrong in the country, we have all these agencies that are just passive and dormant, and nobody's saying anything. But if you actually ask them to, they would tell you the reason why they're not working. Some of them will tell you that they don't have enough infrastructure, they don't have enough equipment, they don't have enough manpower, different reasons. They'll give you different reasons. However, I think one of the ways we can call their attention, like you mentioned, is maybe write a letter to them, which is fine, but I'm not sure that would be so effective. Another way is to also drag them on social media, tag them on social media. Some of these agencies, they have online presence. I'm very sure, or I know of Lagos State, almost all their agencies, they have online presence when it comes to the social media. So we can always tag them, tag whatever is going on in the community, and tag them and say, oh, see this, see that. So that's one of the things we can do. Another thing we can do is, I've mentioned that maybe just take individual actions. Now, Plogging Nigeria, as a club, one of the things we do is we organize cleanups, we organize programs now, events that aims to sensitize people about environmental sustainability. And whenever we plan some of these events, we also invite all these agencies. We invite some of these state agencies, even national agencies. For example, recently, Plogging Nigeria organized an event called Ploggathon. And, just to commemorate the last was it cleanup or World Environment Day and all of that. And one of the things we did was to invite some agencies, some government agencies to participate, embassies, agencies, organizations to participate in these events. And of course, they see these things, they know what's going on, they love the whole idea, but the issue still remains that they are not functioning properly, except for a few states like Lagos State. Lagos State, at least they are trying. We can say that to an extent they are working, and maybe Oyo State and some other state like that. But a lot of states are actually dormant. A lot of agencies are dormant, they are passive, and they're not doing what they ought to do. Well, I don't know if there's so much we can do, but of course we can write letters. We can also go there to call their attention or see the authority there. But then I know that social media can work if they are present online. If they have online presence, it can work. And we can also organize our own little programs and invite them or write to them to collaborate on projects, on events. So that's that from my end. I hope I've been able to answer your question, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Barrister. I believe you have, yes. Please, the person that asked the question, are you still online? Let's get a response if your question has been answered. Any other question? Thank you, Barrister. Well done. That was absolutely great. Any other question, please? Okay, response has been given that you answered it. So she has well spoken. So we can do the best we can. The change begins from each of us. And we can also reach out to those we can reach out, like what Plogging Nigeria is doing. Okay, so I think I have another hand. Is there no female that want to ask questions? Seems like it's just male. Okay, so this will be the last question. I'll wrap up for this lecture, please. Okay, I'm going to unmute you, please. So do you have question like Bo Cleopas? Hope I pronounced your name correctly.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes,
Thank you, ma'am, for the lecture. Yes, I have a question.
Okay, please go ahead.
First of all, thank you, ma'am, for the lecture. It was quite insightful. So my question goes like this. I asked earlier about easement. It's like a land law. I need clarity on that law. Then secondly, where I'm based, in student environment, building of lodges have led to felling of trees around my location, and it's making the place very hot, like rising temperature. So please, how do I tend to work on this sort of planting of trees to help the community? Yes, but it's really hot now. Thank you, ma'am.
Sorry, your voice is breaking. I could barely hear you. Can you repeat your question, please?
Okay. So I said, first of all, I want to gain clarity on easement law, like a land law for easement. I need clarity on that law. Then secondly, I say where I'm based, I'm a student of Ghana, and due to the construction of new lodges, they've been felling trees.
Construction of what?
Of lodges for students' habitation.
Okay, lodges. Okay, hostels.
Yeah, so they've been bringing out a lot of trees, and when we came, the place was quite eco-friendly, but now it's something else. So how do one initiate these tree planting ideas?
How do one do what?
Initiate tree planting to help the environment.
Hello? I can hear you.
That's why I say, how do one initiate tree planting to help bring back the eco-friendly nature of the environment? Thank you.
I don't know if Blogger Gift got his question, but I could not really pick the question because the line was breaking. Blogger Gift, ma, did you get his
Yeah,
question?
I also did not get his question. I think he's asking for clarity on a particular law. I didn't get the name.
Yeah, he said I got that one. He said easement law. I got that one.
Yeah,
it was the second leg of his question I did not get.
But the second leg is just the felling of trees in my location is getting extreme, and the place is getting hot. Temperature is rising. So how do one initiate tree planting? Because it's really intense.
How do one
you are saying that tree planting, Abi?
Tree planting, yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Okay, Barrister. Okay. Barrister, did you get that now?
Yes, I think I understand this question now.
Okay,
I think I
great.
understand this question. Okay, so let's just start with your first question, which is you asked about easement law. So in Nigeria, we have the Land Use Act, and we also have the laws, the land laws in each state, laws regulating land or landed properties, real estate generally. However, the question about easement law is somehow, because in Nigeria, we don't have easement law in particular, say easement law. So easement itself is just a right that is attached to a land. And that right allows you to give your land to another person. Now, for example, I can give you my land and say you can use it for a particular purpose. We can agree that you can use my land for a particular purpose. However, you are not the owner of that land. I'm only giving you to use for a particular purpose and maybe for a particular period of time. It's actually restricted. So the easement itself that you're talking about is usually contained in maybe an agreement. Of course, the word easement is also in the Land Use Act. You can give your land to another person, subject to approval from the government itself. So you can say maybe easement right, or it's just a right, not a law. It's not a law. There's nothing like easement law in Nigeria. It's just one of the rights that is enshrined or is contained in the Land Use Act and in some other land laws. It just allows the owner of the land to give his or her land to another person to use for a particular period of time. But that right does not confer ownership. The fact that I give you my land to use for farming for 5 years or to use for farming for 10 years does not give you rights as the owner of that land. You are not the owner. You don't own the land. I only give it to you for a particular period of time. So that's just number one thing. So there is no easement law, like I mean a particular law saying easement law in Nigeria. That's from my own understanding of your question. Anyways, so the easement, the word easement is in land law, and it's just describing a right that a landowner has over his property. That's one. I don't know if I've answered that question, but let me move on to the next question. So you mentioned the fact that in maybe universities or higher institutions where they build lodge for students, we have hostels, apartments for students, and you asked how you can go about tree planting if you want to plant tree in such an environment. So the proper way to do that is to, of course, write a letter to the school authority or to the student affairs. We usually have, I think, Department of Student Affairs in virtually all schools. Now, if we are talking about school hostel now, school hostel, because in some schools we have private hostels. Those private hostels are owned by individuals, organizations. So the first thing to do, if it is a school hostel or a school lodge, is for you to write letter to the school management. You have to find out the department that is responsible for the hostels. Write to them, informing them of your intention now to plant trees. In fact, you can go to the extent of telling them why you want to plant the trees. Of course, you can just explain briefly the usefulness or the purpose of the trees, how the tree contributes to environmental sustainability, how it will help the air, the environment generally, and it will also promote healthy living in the hostel environment. So you can emphasize on that. You can also even emphasize on the type of tree you want to plant. So there are some trees that you don't plant them near near buildings. There are some trees that are meant to be planted inside forests, inside bushes, and there are some that you can plant besides. I mean, in a residential area. So you explain to them the kind of trees you want to plant. You will also even tell them that they are free to join the exercise. You can tell them how many number of trees you want to plant and just give them detailed information and why you are doing that, just for you to get the approval. I remember that back then, while I think when we were in OAU, there was a time that Plogging Nigeria, or was it some members of Plogging Nigeria, we collaborated with another organization, and what we did back then was to plant trees in OAU. So the areas where we planted the trees back then were, I think it was majorly the school gates down to the school environment itself. So it was non-residential area. It was just along the road, say beside the road, from the school gates down to when you enter the campus itself. So there was a way we structured it. There is a spacing, there's a number of spacing, like I mean the measurement of the spacing. They gave us where we can plant the trees. We also we got the trees, the particular trees we were going to plant. So those are the information that you need. So the best way to go about it is to inform the school authority or the management of that hostel or that lodge. Inform them of your intention. Let them know why you are doing it. Let them know that it will not affect the building in any ways. It will not affect the students. In fact, it is for environmental protection or just to promote healthy living
and the likes. So that's just my advice. I don't know if any other person has another opinion on that. I don't know if I've answered the questions, please. The time is
Yeah.
far spent.
Barrister, thank you so much. The person that asked the question, please have your question been answered? I think you can put your hand down. Okay, so time is fast spent. Time is fast spent. We want to appreciate you all for being part of this and staying to this very point. Thank you so much, Barrister. It's been a time learning and sharing your experiences and your knowledge. Yeah, we are really, really excited to have you. It's not easy having you on board. Okay, so thank you so much for your time. To our participant, Greenies, GSAMs, wow, we have GSAMs that have been, on the show. They've been on both the presentations and the lecture, So we are really appreciative and we thank you for every one of you for staying to this very point. So please, we're not going to be taking question again. Okay, I think I have some comments in the chat room. So some people already dropped what they learned. That's a great one. We're happy that you learned something. So I learned that we have lots of bodies and acts governing them, but the issue is implementation. Okay, great, Ebony. Thank you for following through. Victoria said their laws are supposed to guide the environment, also everyone in line with, okay, I cannot be able to read all this now, but we are happy that you learned a lot from the lecture. And the most important thing is for us to create more awareness on this. And someone said he wants to ask questions. So you can always ask a question, but not now, right? You have access to asking any question that you want to ask. More information on that will be dropped in the chat room on WhatsApp. So please, at this juncture, let's just go back to the WhatsApp group. As we are going back to the WhatsApp group, would be appreciating our barrister. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I think I can see Jisam Balikis, Jisam Chris,
Maybe
Jisam
that can be dropped on the WhatsApp page.
What did you say, please?
I said thank you very much for having me tonight. I said further questions can be dropped on the WhatsApp page. I mean, the Academy WhatsApp page.
Yes. So we'll have questions. If you have more questions, just drop them in the WhatsApp page and you'll be attended to. Okay, so yes, thank you very Barrister Sabi. Yes, she really, really has it. So we are very, very grateful for all of you. So at this juncture, please let's move back to the chat room. We'll be rounding up in a few minutes. Okay, we are so sorry. We've taken so much of our time and exceeded the schedule. Thank you so much. So please, let's all go back to the chat room and we'll round off for the night. Don't sleep. Oh. See you all in the chat room. Thank you, everyone. It's good night from me, from my end now. Thank you, our host. Thank you, our co-host, and everyone on the call. Bye for now. Let's go to the chat room, please.